All right, we're with you again, and just thank you for checking out one of the world's premier discussions today on global warming. And we want to keep you on track and get you to understand again what we're talking about is wrong information. So if you come up with the wrong information, if you're listening to people, if you're reading the editorials of the newspaper, if you're not actually studying the science or know somebody that's going to give you the truth, if you get the wrong information, you may come to the wrong conclusion on how to handle things. So that's our whole thesis here. If you get the wrong information, you're going to come to the wrong conclusion. All right, so we're going to kind of go back to the projected Greenland ice melt. And I told you we'd talk a little bit about temperature. So I went back and I've got this chart here, and again, all this information is available to the general public on the internet, in the IPCC reports. We try to use generally known information and try to tell you what's inside the IPCC reports, all right? So southern Greenland here since 1900 to not quite present, obviously there's a little lag in putting the records together, but we see that overall the average temperature of southern Greenland is going down. Yes, you got low spikes, you got high spikes, you get through there, but overall the average temperature is going down. And in fact, in almost every city in the United States for the past 6 years, the temperatures have gone down. And just yesterday in Minnesota, where I'm from, we find out that up in northern Minnesota, we had 40 degrees below zero, the all-time cold record, when global warming is supposed to be taking place. And we will talk in the future about how the greenhouse effect works and whether or not it can suspend itself over a period of time, just so you can see if it's going to cause fluctuations or what is the details of the greenhouse effect. But I told you I'd talk about what the IPCC report looks at. And when we're trying to project temperatures, you're going to have all these different climate models with dots kind of all over the map. So if you can see this black dot, the black line, that is mid-range of where the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says temperatures are going to go. So they pick this when in fact this blue line down below is the observed trend. So yes, temperatures are going up. Yes, we have a climate shift. We'll talk about in the future what some of those implications are, what's causing it, is it natural, is it man-made, we'll get into that. But today we have what's known as a linear trend. It follows a line almost perfectly, and you'll notice it's at least 1 degree centigrade, about 2 degrees Fahrenheit different than what the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says. And if we know that we have a trend here, and if that trend continues, if and only if, you may see some of these projections for the Greenland ice melt, and again, that's projected on quadrupling CO2. We'll talk about CO2 and the implications later. But I also wanted to kind of move over and talk about a thing called the energy balance equation. Now, I don't expect you to understand it. I don't expect to really go over it. But I wrote it out here because it comes into play when you're looking at people's projections. And people will tell you the energy of the Earth is out of balance, and you don't know if it is. And the energy balance equation actually tells us just part of the story. We can use some of the inputs. The left-hand side of the equation, we're running out of juice here, are inputs. So that's what goes into actually the environment, the equation that protects, well, talks about the Earth's energy and the balance. And this is the output. Why I wanted to mention it is there's so many different inputs here. Yes, man has an effect on the Earth. If we would do, for example, plowing, heavy tillage, you put dust in the air, industrialized particulate matter, all that affects the Earth. And just to tell you that some people are using this equation to tell you the Earth is out of balance, the equation simply gives us a viewpoint into how does man affect things, how does the sun, how do other things in the environment affect things. That's what the energy balance equation is all about. It's not meant to be politically perverted with false inputs, because wrong info gives us the wrong conclusion. Thanks again.